All right, y'all ready for the first full moon of the year? Because I am. And it's in Leo, which is just across the axis of Aquarius on the zodiac wheel, its sister sign. This is a time to be aligned, a time to be alive, to be aware, to be in your power, to be empowering yourself every day. If you've been reading my newsletters or paying any attention to what I've been talking about over the last, well, honestly, year, I've been like trying to breadcrumb and prepare us for this great shift that we are now in. It's now full throttle and activated. Um, First full moon in Leo is tomorrow, January 25th. I think it's in 8 degrees. I'm not sure. I didn't write down that information. Um, but this full moon is going to be different because it's the first full moon that we have had with Pluto and Aqua. So it's going to be a lot more, I don't want to say intense, but it is. But it is. Um, Leo rules the child of the zodiac, ruled by the sun. We can expect some enlightenment through our inner child, through our pain, especially if you've really been going through the thick of it over the last year since Saturn moved into Pisces. Chiron was retrograde half of the summer, more than half of the year, giving us yet another opportunity to connect with our inner child, be um, liberated by the pain, be um, transmute the pain, and then be evolved past it. We've all been experiencing that. And I've said this on Patreon a couple of times. This will probably not be the only time I say it publicly, but I feel so sorry for people who really go through the world like, oh, it's a full moon, so what? Oh, it's a new moon, so what? Oh, it's a waning moon, so what? I feel sorry for people because they're missing those portals of opportunity. They're missing those gaps in time to upgrade. The universe is literally sending people go to church every Sunday for 30 years. Oh God, please. Oh God, please just send me a sign. Oh God, please just send me a breakthrough. Meanwhile, God about to send you a full moon in Leo to help you set fire to any of the bullshit that may be transpiring so that you can go to the next level. But you too busy, or they too busy, not believing in astrology. Believing that astrology is of the devil, even though astrology is all up and through the Bible. The Bible is all about astrology. Astrotheology is what we be doing here on Patreon and with the collective in Black Church. So empowering. Don't let me lose my point because I'll do that. I'll do that real quick. Start going off on a tangent. Empowering yourself through these portals, through these full moons, these new moons, these eclipses, letting Saturn use you. Saturn's been in Pisces since last March. Let Saturn use you. What house is Saturn in? I offered readings last year, and it gave you an interpretation of exactly where Saturn is affecting you. If you don't know that information, go to Cafe Astrology and type in your birth information. Get, free information to empower yourself with, to see how these portals can really exasperate the opportunities and potential for you. Like I said, the sun rules Leo. So this is going to be time for our inner child to be on stage. Our inner child is going to want to be seen and be heard. And honestly, your inner child may be checking in with you to see, like, did you just leave me on the playground? Because far too many times as adults, we survived it. We got through it. We ran away from it. I'm done. I don't want to have to go back. But just because 30-year-old you can stand here today doesn't mean that 8-year-old you isn't still somewhere left, lost, waiting for you to come and save them. And what I mean by that is you may be achieved and successful and have sustainable income and what's it. But there's a part of your inner child that still needs to be tended to. There's a part of you that doesn't need to take life so seriously. There's a part of all of us that needs to be Peter Pan Hook, that Peter Pan Hook energy, not not start taking ourselves so seriously that we're not able to see the magic of things. So under this full moon, we can experience some enlightenment through our inner child. We'll also be kind of reflecting on how we've been working on our communication patterns. Now, for me, Pluto's been in my third house for the last 15 years, which is communication, Mercurial. Um, it's also how I learned to communicate because it's your childhood education, it's your siblings, it's your neighborhood. So that also can be transliterated, if that's the right use of that word, into trauma. How trauma may have impacted my childhood on how I communicate, while trauma could have impacted my childhood on how I perceive myself in this world, how I communicate with the world, right? So over the last 15 years, I've been going through a huge breakdown and remuneration of that. Not to mention, I lost my mother, who taught me how to communicate in this last 15 years. It's been 12 years, and this year it'll be 12 years since she's been gone. So I had to relearn how to communicate. Then I had to learn how to communicate with the dead. What y'all know about that? What y'all know about that? Oh, send me a sign. I'm trying to see. Come through my meditation. All right, I'm going to see it in my dream. Trying to figure out that point of communication. Like, it's been a huge, and then Pluto, it's the death of one thing to embrace the life of another, like I've been saying. So, our emotional immaturity may be on the main stage, or maturity, because we're able to see that, oh man, I've really grown, I've really changed, I really have changed. For me, I'm looking myself in the face like, bro, you have really changed. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. Because just 2 years ago, you snapped on that bitch. Just 2 years ago. You know, just 6 months ago, you would have went left because you felt a certain type of way. You were triggered emotionally, which was immature. And now you're making better decisions. So for you, stop and think about that. Where has Pluto been in your chart for the last 15 years? Where is it now? If you don't know where it is going now, I encourage you to book a Pluto Aqua reading on the site with me. And we will talk about that. I'll give you a whole rundown on what you can experience. And you know, when Pluto comes, Pluto doesn't come for a little bit. Saturn comes and he's there for 3 years, and chaos, complete chaos and upheaval of what needs to change in your life. For 3 years though, anybody can do 3 years. Pluto comes for 15, 21 years. I mean, they say that typically it takes 21 years for Pluto to make its full transit. So that's why, you know, it can vary between 15 to 21, but either way, it's a long time. Anything longer than 5 years is a long time. A decade? You telling me a planet can affect me for a decade and then some? Instead of running from that, get into that. You know, we are getting a cheat year. And we really got cheat year last year. Think back March to June when Pluto slipped into Aquarius for those few months. What did you see about yourself? What did you learn about yourself? What area of your life was highlighted? Because that's the area of your life that will receive the most impact and expansion over the next 15 years. Now, Pluto moved into Aquarius on Saturday, but it's going to slide back into Capricorn June to November of this year, I believe. Trap astrologer for a reason. I do other shit. I be in the trap. You know, now that I'm doing videos, let's talk about why I call myself a trap astrologer. Because I be in the trap. I do rituals. I teach. I do readings. I transmute. I'm a mother. I'm a, not wife, but partner. I am, you know, shit, I'm a many of things. So I be in the trap. I bees in the trap. And reading astrology, again, self-taught. I call it trap astrology or trap astrology because I'm giving it to you how I'm giving it to my homie on the street. You know, again, I'm your cousin because when you come to me for clarity or when you come to have conversation with me, it's going to be like we talking in our grandma basement. So the same is going to be true when I start dropping whatever degree or house or transit that you may be going through astrologically. Um, but then with that same merit, because I am self-taught, I know there are things that I am not that well versed in that a true astrologer may tell you or may have ingrained in their head. So that's why I said, it may be from June to November. It might be from July to November. That's where I leave you to go do your own work. I'm bringing you the gems. I'm bringing you the gems. You need to go separate them and figure out, okay, now this is what I need. This is what I don't need. I'm giving you the recipe. You figure out how you want it to taste all the way. So overall, we're understanding our emotions and how we've been triggered or how we've been growing or where we need to grow, and then going to see where that Pluto is in your new transit is going to give you a precursor. This year is going to give you a precursor of what the rest of this transit will have for you. And if you don't like what it's looking like, if you don't like how it's feeling, you're getting the opportunity right now. The universe loves us so much. The Most High God and Goddess love us so much that they're like, yo, let's turn our back real quick. We're gonna let them look at the paper. We're gonna let them look at the cheat codes. And when we turn back around, they're gonna have everything they need to succeed in all of this. Going back to that Pluto, my transit being Pluto in my third house for the last 15 years. What I can say, what I've learned, I've studied astrology, metaphysics, all religions, the way that the universe works, literally the way that the universe works, occult information, like rooted to the tutor. Like I could literally say I'm an expert in these things at this point. I did all of that with no mentor. The only mentor I have is my godmother, and my godmother, all she does is give me sage and crystals. And when I say I have a problem or I need clarity, she says, "Here's this book. Open that book, and whatever page you fall on, it's gonna tell you what you need to know." Like my godmama's dad is like that gangster with it, that she is not even holding my hand through that. So because she was my first mentor on this journey, and she's so real like that, it was hard for me to go try to find a mentor. I'm not gonna be able to be menteed up under nobody. I mean, even when I go to a job, what okay, I'm gonna walk with you for 2 days. You're gonna show me what I need for 2 days, and I'm gonna go off and figure this out on my own. I mean, I'll bump my head, I'll figure it out. I'll come and ask you when I need your assistance, but I do not need you to hold my hand. So the same has been true with my whole learning journey for the last 15 years. And while I have been well versed, empowered myself, know a multitude of things, I can, I know everything I wanted to know when I came into this transit, which is crazy. Because in 2008, the things that I wanted to know, I know them now. I know them now. And it took a hell of a lot of digging and comparisons and text reading and, ancient books and modern books and all of it. It took it and then actual application of these things. Because to be well versed in one thing is one energy. To be able to apply the verse is another. It's like a good hip hop song. Jay-Z and Fab have like the most layered lyrics to me. And I guess it's because of my age. I'm 38. So I'm a true millennial, real 80s baby, real hip hop. I don't know what the rest of y'all be listening to, but as a kid, I would listen to them and I would like their music. I would know and understand some of the bars. But it wasn't until I started dating drug dealers that I could understand half of what they were saying. It wasn't until I became my own type of nigga who would run in your house and stash shit that I could really understand what they were saying. Fabulous is my favorite rapper to this day because he can give you a bar on a song. He can give you a 16 on a song. It could take you 10 years to understand that motherfucker. Or you can go back in 10 years and be like, oh my God, that's what he was saying. That's real music to me. That's real lyrics to me. And that is the transit of information. Like, just because you can read a book really fast or you can, have a lot of books in your library means nothing. Did you understand what you read and can you apply it now? If somebody was to put you out there in the trenches. But I also have to say on the back end of this, a mentor is always needed. A mentor is always needed. Because of the type of information that I was studying, there were not many mentors. There were not very many mentors that were not only versed but applicable in what they were teaching. Um, I remember one time I had asked this person, about like building an altar. This is way in the beginning of my life, way beginning of my life, literally 15 years ago, probably. No, we'll say 10 years ago. I asked them how to build an altar, and they had the audacity to tell me, oh, well, I don't have one, but you should do this. I think that was probably the beginning of me saying, fuck these people. I'm going to figure it out on my own. I'm going to figure it out on my own, because everybody out here just talking outside of their neck and they don't know what they're talking about. But mentors are always needed. Finding a good mentor is always respected. That's one of the main reasons why I have Patreon, why I created Patreon, why I have created this community for my clients, is because I want to be a real mentor. People need mentors when they are going in these type of journeys, to find themselves. They need someone who's already done it, who's already seen it, who's also going to be down to earth, relatable, and approachable. So, because that's something else. And again, y'all see, I said let me stay on task, because I'll go off on a tangent. But I guess really this is still on task. A lot of times in the spiritual community, you will find that people are so up their own ass that they don't want to answer any of your questions, or they want to give you some like backhanded answer or some like condescending answer. I only had to receive a couple of times, you don't know that? Oh my God. I only received that a couple of times in the beginning of my journey, when I was like, okay, again, fuck these people. I'm going to figure it out on my own. And the way I figure it out is going to be so cold, because I'm self-taught. Self-journey on this bitch. And that's what it all is about anyway. Mentors are good. Finding a good mentor is important, especially as you are going into anything in life, anywhere. If you are a married couple, you need mentors who have been married for 30, 40 years in happy, healthy relationships. If you are a mother or a father, you need happy, healthy, or even if they ain't happy and healthy, you need mentors that can teach you, don't do that. Don't, hey, they can show you the blueprint. And ultimately that's what I've learned. So, in my transit of Pluto going through my third house, is now going through my fourth house, and I'm excited, but shit, the way that I know that Pluto can come for them edges, I'm happy I got something to work with, because I know snatch. This is a quantum leap of energy. I don't know if y'all have ever seen the show Quantum Leap. Again, I'm born in the 80s, 90s raised me. Quantum Leap is my shit. It's a show. And oh boy, he's a scientist, and he basically created this hologram, or he connected with this hologram in a dimension. And really, the hologram is his spirit guide. For the ones that know, it's really his spirit guide, and he goes everywhere with him. And they jump from like 1955 to 1985, 1965 and 2005. Like, they jump all over the dimensions by this computer that the hologram has in his hand. And it's called Quantum Leap, because after he finishes whatever his task is, it disintegrates his energy and quantum leaps him onto the next timeline on what his next task is supposed to be. So Pluto moving into Aquarius was a quantum shift of energy. I myself experienced a horrible migraine for like 2 days, Friday, Saturday, maybe even Sunday. You may have experienced dizziness, migraines, nausea, just tired, just not able to move, didn't want to move. And that is all a part of the ascension of this upgrade that is coming with the Pluto and Aquarius shift. Now, this is also going to be bookended with the full moon in Leo. So you might still be feeling that same energy. And this is because of how the frequencies that have come into the earth now are rapidly moving, because it is time for us to rapidly move to the next part of our life. No more bullshitting. You've been bullshitting in this friendship for too long, it's over. You've been bullshitting in this relationship for too long, it's over. You've been bullshitting at this job for too long, it's over. Literally quantum shift. And even if it didn't happen that quickly, like even if, since last Saturday, you feel like nothing has really changed, give it a month. Give it a month for Pluto to just barely set his ass in there. Barely. Because the way it's going to pull that shit up from the depths and make you have to let it go. Let it go. Like a love TKO. Let the shit go. And the reason why this quantum shift is so needed for many of us is because a lot of us have felt stuck. We have felt incapable, not able to do it. We knew what we needed to do. We know what direction we needed to go, but we just weren't able to do it. And now that surge of energy is here. We're literally being pulled away from our old selves. This deep purge is going to be helping us release what we don't like about ourselves. So that's why I'm sitting here in this fucking camera. That's how I know astrology is real, because the way it play in my life. The way it play in my life is crazy. I'm a Leo, double Leo, Mercury, 10th house. What I'm supposed to do is talk to the people. What I'm supposed to do is get information, read information, process information, teach information. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a manifesting generator, 1-3. What I'm supposed to do is eat information, process information, then teach information. And so the Pluto shift, taking away the things I don't like about myself. I ain't gonna say I don't think I'm cute. I do think I'm cute. I don't think I'm photogenic. Okay? I didn't like having to use my notes on camera. Because again, I'm the 80s baby raised in the 90s. We were taught, you don't go up there with all them papers fumbling around looking crazy in front of these people. Know what you gonna say. Say it. Grew up watching Freestyle Friday on 106 in Park. You gonna freestyle for real. You ain't coming up here with no paper. So the pressure of my generation had me doubting myself, right? It didn't even like just looking at all this technology and how these kids who grow up with this phone in their hand, it's second nature to them to get on here and push out contact. You know? So Saturday I couldn't breathe and my head hurt. Sunday I started seeing clearly though what I should do. Manifesting generator. And I'm going to get more into this if you hang around. If you hang around on Patreon, you'll get it first. If you hang around in the collective EMB, you get it when you get it. But it will be valuable information. But manifesting generator energy, we very much so respond to. We get a download and then we see it in the world and then we knew that that's what we should be doing. So when I couldn't breathe and I couldn't see and my head hurt, on Saturday I kept getting like these downloads of like, you need to get in the camera, get on the camera. You need to take everything you know. I've been studying for 15 years. What you gonna do with it? Because manifesting generator, again, eat information, but you can't just hoard information. You got to do something with it. You got to get it out. So I kept having these downloads. And then Sunday, I don't even know. I don't know what happened. But it was like one after another of you need to record. Like, you need to record. So Patreon got my first YouTube video. That was on Monday. And I'm letting the universe use me, child. Let them use me. Deep purge of the things you don't like about yourself. Whatever it is, let it go. And instead, embrace your strength. So, okay, I may feel like I'm not photogenic. I may feel like I don't have the best backgrounds. I may feel like, oh, I don't like having to set my camera up and everything has to be perfect. I may feel that way. But what's your strength? You were born to speak. You were born to teach. You were born to use your throat chakra. Activation at its finest. And you know you can do that. So do it. And I've already been mentioning Saturn. I've been talking about Saturn really this whole session. But Saturn moving into Pisces last March already has shaken your life up. It's now being compounded. But not in a bad way. What has died in your life since last March? What has been forced to die? What have you been forced to let go of? What have you been forced to straighten up on, tighten up on? Saturn's in my 5th house. Where Saturn is not supposed to make you feel good, okay? So Saturn's in my 5th house. 5th house is usually the house that makes you feel good. It's your Leo house. It's the house that joy and creativity and vitality and blah, 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 blah. But when Big Daddy Saturn shows up to the kid When your daddy got to come to school. That's basically how I've looked at it for myself this last year and for the next 2 years after this. When your daddy didn't show his ass up at school, you've been showing your ass. So don't get whooped. Don't get beat in front of your little friends. Get your shit together, right? So there's been a deep migration and change and lots of probably pain too. Because where there is change, there is pain. No pain, no gain. Like my mama used to say, ooh. But now, under this Leo sun energy, under the full moon, it's going to be cauterizing it. The career that I have, that I went to school for, got licenses and certifications and degrees for, is to work in surgery. So I work in the operating room. And we have a tool that's called a Bovie. It could also be called a monopolar or a bipolar, just depending upon what it's connected to. Either way, its sole purpose is to push out fire, electricity, that stops the skin from bleeding. So they'll take a normal 10 blade or 15 blade and cut your skin open to start the surgery. But then they will take the bipolar or the Bovie or the fire stick, some doctors call it a fire stick, and they and it cauterizes so that you're not actively bleeding into where they need to see, right? That may have been graphic, and I'm sorry if that was. That's my life, though. That's what's happening right now. Whatever's been happening, wherever you've been bleeding, whatever part of your heart's been bleeding, whatever part of your wound has been bleeding, Leo, also ruler of the heart, is coming to cauterize that. Saturn is coming in to check on you. Your daddy, Saturn, new moon Capricorn, Saturn, maybe came in and gave you a blessing or a reward because of what you've been going through since last March. Honestly, he know it's been hard. So he's giving you little crumpets to let you know it's going to be worth it. So there can be some deep healing here. All the planets are finally direct. So Chiron is no longer retrograde. So again, whatever Chiron retrograde Aries brought up for you or triggered for you during the summer, it could be very raw. It can still be very raw, but under this moon, it can be very finalizing. We are finally stepping into who we came here to be under the Leo full moon. Wherever Leo is, there's a stage. Wherever Leo is, there's a stage. Wherever Leo is, there's also room for embarrassment because there's a stage. So you go on stage, you run the risk of forgetting your lines, your voice cracking, you falling, the lights failing, anything. Just because you're on stage doesn't mean that things are going to go well. It just means that you are on a platform and you are being visualized and you're visible to the masses, to the world. Wherever Leo is in your chart is the same energy. So you're on stage now. And Leo placements honestly stand to live their best life over these next 20 years. If they can let the activation happen the way it's supposed to. If they can let that Pluto, Aqua, dead, everything in opposition to them, they can really go on to reach new heights of success and love and opportunity. And we all really can, because we're coming into who we were supposed to be before the pain, before the trauma, before the childhood dismantling. But we have to be willing to let it go. We have to be willing to let it complete itself so that we can go on to something new. Venus just moved into Capricorn yesterday. Yeah, Venus moved into Capricorn yesterday. Mars has been in Capricorn. So now we got Big Daddy Saturn making this shit. I think I said it last week on the podcast, like wherever Capricorn is, it's here to level you up. If you are single right now, this is an opportune time for you to find somebody who y'all might be together for the next 20 years. Because whenever Venus and Capricorn come together, that's real. Can't speak for Capricorn women, but Capricorn men ain't playing no games when it comes to dating. They may play a lot of games until they care about you. You may be one of the 10 people that they're dating until they make the decision that they want to put all their energy into you. And then it's, again, that big daddy energy. So Venus in Capricorn. Venus loves Capricorn. Cap loves Venus. This is the ideal time for attracting new love, long-lasting love, loyal love. Mars in Capricorn. Mars moves into Aquarius February 14th, I believe. And Venus moves into Aquarius February 13th. So it's just right on each other's heels. But use this energy of laying down some good long-term goals, solidifying who you're trying to be in the future. Even if you don't, like, even if you're not in the market for love, or you feel like, oh no, there's nobody around, this is when you set these intentions of what kind of love you want to attract. What kind of partner do you want to have? What kind of partner do you want to be? And then the same is true for Mars and Capricorn. Financial goals, employment goals. What are you trying to do? How are you trying to grow? And then remember, just because you set the intention doesn't mean anything with Capricorn. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to get it? So this is the session. Y'all have a great full moon. It's tomorrow. You can work with it 3 days before, 3 days after. What do I mean work with it? I mean, if you want to do rituals, you want to release, you want to set intentions, you want to whatever, you do it 3 days before, 3 days after, and it will still be just as potent. And you can also feel those energies 3 days before, 3 days after. So link in bio wherever you see this at. It might be in my newsletter, it might be on my IG, it might be on the YouTube. You can book a reading with me. Pluto Aqua readings. I'm ending those though on February 14th. Even though this is the 20-year transit, yo, get in where you fit in, get your information, and get out. I ain't gonna be offering this reading forever. Trapstrology reports are completely available right now. And I only have like 2 on deck. So that means like I'm able to chop them out faster, or you'll be able to get yours sooner than having to wait like 30 days or 45 days. And in my Trapstrology reports, not only do we talk about your sun sign and moon and rising and north node, we talk about your past life placements. You have multiple. We talk about your ancestral inheritance, like what you got from your ancestors straight from birth. How to neutralize your childhood wounds and pains, because you will have them forever, but you can also maximize them. Hidden bags of money in your birth chart, your second rising sign, etc., etc., etc. It's a reading you've never had before. And as always, subscribe to the Trap House on Patreon, because that's going to be where you're really able to level up your information. You're getting access to the Alchemy Library. It's over 100 books in there and PDFs these are books that have changed my life over the last 15 years. If you're trying to get into occult information, metaphysics, any of that, it's all on Patreon. Not to mention that you get a weekly reading, and then every full moon, new moon, you also get an individual reading over there as well, depending upon your tier. So I look forward to connecting with y'all on the other side. Stay right, stay alive, holla back.